Hey everybody, welcome back to Joe Knows Cryptos, and I'm here today to make a video just to show you the relationship of what the banks and the news media may be telling you about cryptocurrencies, gold, and fiat currency. So if you're trying to save money or invest or have a savings account and just save fiat currency versus gold versus Bitcoin, I just want to show you the difference. Please share this video with anybody who's not familiar with Bitcoin or saving gold, or people who just save fiat and think that that's the best way to go. I also want to show you the advantages of saving certain types of currencies over others. I'm going to open up the screen rather large so everyone can see it. And let me go into my charts here. First one I want to show you is the inflation rate of gold over the last 10 years. So the last 120 months is 10 years, it's 19%. So for every $100 that you save over the last 10 years, you've lost 19% of its value. So if you saved $100 in 2010 and you tried to purchase stuff with it today, it would have lost almost $20 of its purchasing power. So that $100 would really only be worth about $80 today. Okay? If we look at gold, here's a chart on gold. So 2020, so 2010, gold was worth about $1,220. It did go up as high as where, actually higher than where it is currently, then came way back lower, down to about $1,000. And today we currently sit about 1740, right around there, give or take a little bit. So gold has appreciated about $500 from today's date from 10 years ago. So that's not bad. That's pretty decent. At least you gained, you didn't lose money. So if you had an ounce of gold 10 years ago and you tried to purchase something with it, minus that inflation rate, which is anywhere between 1.5% and 4%, depending on the year. I like to average it out at about 2.5%, 3%. It's actually kept up with inflation and actually is outperforming inflation by, let's call it 3% by 1,200. That'd be $400, $450 on top of 12. Would be about 1660, right around there. So gold has at this point outperformed, and gold has had a run up in the recent months. As you can see, if we were doing this back in October of 18, gold would have actually lost money due to the rate of inflation increasing and gold being the exact same price in 2018 as it was in 2010. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin chart. If you had bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, you could have bought it for about $121. And looks like the lowest it went back again. No, it never went back down to that $121. In 2018, where you could have bought that gold really cheap, Bitcoin actually did hit a high of $19,100. And on some exchanges, it was even higher than that. But we currently sit at roughly 9,000. It is actually higher than this right now. It's about $9,400. But anyway, this is $9,100. So you compare $125 to 9,000. Let's just call it $9,000. With 3% inflation, wow, Bitcoin by far outperformed fiat as well as gold by hundreds of thousands of percentages. I don't have a calculator here to figure it out, but not even close, okay? So that's the first thing that I wanted to show everybody, is that Bitcoin does actually outperform fiat and gold. All right. Now, the next thing I want to say is that what about transferability? Is it easy to pay for things in Bitcoin? Currently, not as easy as fiat, but easier than gold, but getting easier and easier every day. So today you can go into a store with fiat, with a dollar bill, or whatever something to everybody accepts fiat currency, right? Easy to transact with. But now cryptocurrencies, there are quite a few different credit cards where you can spend your Bitcoin, same as cash with their debit cards. And there's quite a few of them available now. So it's getting easier and easier, and everyone accepts these cards because they have a Visa logo on them. So any place that accepts Visa will accept Bitcoin now. So that's not a problem. The only problem is you have to set up the account, buy the Bitcoin, and then have it transferred onto the card. It's a couple more steps than just going to the bank and asking for your fiat, but it's very easy. Now gold, nearly impossible to walk into a store and hand somebody a nugget of gold or a gold coin and ask for your merchandise. They don't accept gold, even though it is has value. They don't accept it. What about breaking down currency? So if you went into a store with a $10 bill and something cost $8, they can give you $2 and change. Pretty easy, right? Gold, what do? You walk into a store with a gold coin. They can't divide the gold into smaller amounts of gold to give to you because they don't have it on hand, right? Bitcoin, however, can be broken down into smaller parts called satoshis. And satoshis are the small particles, almost like pennies make up a dollar. Satoshis make up the whole Bitcoin. So very easily divisible. All right. Now, another thing that they want to do is make you feel bad about buying Bitcoin, saying that it's used by criminals and for fraud and black market types of things. Well, these are just a few of many articles that are available on the internet if you want to look them up. But this first one I want to show you is an article from the New York Times. The price of Wells Fargo fake account scandal grows by $3 billion. So these banks are constantly scamming people. They have fake accounts. They launder money for criminals. And they get a slap on the wrist by the government because they're too big to fail. Do you really want to support an entity that does this type of thing? So yeah, maybe small-time criminals might use Bitcoin, but by large, the majority of any type of shady business is still done in fiat currency. If you're going to buy drugs on the corner, would you go down there try to buy it with Bitcoin? No, you'd go down there with cash. By far, it's not even close. The amount of illegal activities done with cash and fiat, way above the amount done by Bitcoin. They just try to give Bitcoin a black name, a black eye, a bad name because they're afraid of it. They're afraid of it taking over the system that they control. And it's all about control. It's all about controlling you and I. As long as we keep our money in their bank and they dictate how much interest we earn or how much interest we don't earn, or how much interest we pay when we borrow it, or who they lend it to and how much they lend to each individual, they've got control over it. And when they've got control over your money, they've got control over you. They don't want to lose that control. So this is why they're going to constantly say that Bitcoin has these negative connotations, that it has no value, when we've seen it's outperformed fiat and gold over the last 10 years by far, not even close. I'm showing you an example right here of Wells Fargo, and this is not the first time that Wells Fargo has been caught with a scam. Like I said, you can go on the internet and you can look up dozens of different scams that these banks have done. Let's go right here to the Huffington Post and look up Bank of America. Mexican drug cartel laundered money through Bank of America, FBI. How much? Well, let's see. If someone gets caught doing a dirty transaction with Bitcoin for $10,000, oh, they want to make a big deal of it. But let's see. Here at Bank of America, in the past, Mexican drug syndicates have used Bank of America accounts to buy planes to transport cocaine, according to Bloomberg. They also alleged almost 10 million in illicit funds and an influential political family. So they don't only use, these banks don't only help the drug cartels buy and sell cocaine, buy planes to transport the drugs with, but they're also involved in influencing political families and figures, and not just in Mexico. You know this is worldwide. How many congressmen and senators and politicians have you seen go into politics, just regular people, and within a few years are millionaires or multimillionaires? Come on. You think they're doing it honestly? That's another reason why they don't want you to have Bitcoin, because when you have Bitcoin, you're your own bank. You're in charge of your money, not the bank. Now, Bank of America has also been caught numerous times laundering money for drug cartels. Numerous times. For El Chapo. I mean, they got caught. Can you imagine how many times they didn't get caught, or how many times they were able to pay people off to get away with it? And when they do get caught, they pay a fine. You know, they do a deal where they make, $1 billion and they get fined $50 million, and they show in the news, oh, Bank of America fined $50 million, and that makes the public feel good, like, oh, well, they got caught, and they look at all that money they had to pay. $50 million, but they made $1 billion. Come on, wake up, people. They're trying to scare you out of Bitcoin. Now, as far as inflation goes, Bitcoin's inflation rate is 1.8%. And every 4 years, that amount gets cut in half. So in 4 years, it's going to go down to 0.9%, which is well under the rate of inflation. Meaning the less Bitcoin that's produced, the higher the price is naturally going to go. Now, I'm making this video primarily to show people that, first of all, you're being lied to. It's something that you're not familiar with, and you may not want to do the work to discover what it's all about. But this is just something to open your eyes, to show you that the criminal enterprises are the banks. They're not Bitcoin. Okay? I've proven that to you. You can go on the internet and do more research if you want more proof for yourself. All right? I've proven to you that its value increases over time, where gold stays about the rate of inflation if you get it when it's on a spike. Otherwise, you're losing money. And Fiat, you automatically lose. It automatically loses value every year, guaranteed. Okay? So I just wanted to show those things to you. This is what's called the Bitcoin block reward halving countdown. So in 1,440 days, the amount of Bitcoin supplied to the world will be cut in half again. It's all supply and demand. As the supply goes down, the demand for Bitcoin is constantly rising. Year over year, the price has only one direction to go. All right? So guys, that's the main points that I wanted to get through in this video today. Please, if you have any questions, if you do forward this to family and friends, and if they have any questions that they'd like to ask, please comment down below. I'd be glad to. I try to answer almost everyone who has a message for me or a comment. I want to help open people's eyes and minds. Everyone who's protesting right now about the unjust things that go on in the world. What a better way to protest than to stop giving the banks and the elite power, by using their currency. Use your currency. Bitcoin is the people's currency. Fiat is the bank's currency. It's the guys above you that are always trying to keep us down, trying to keep us divided, separated, bickering, fighting with each other, trying to climb over one another to get more of it, right? With Bitcoin, the more you have, the more wealth you'll have in the long run. If you're getting in now, you're still early, even though the price of Bitcoin may seem very high, over $9,000, but it's only going to go higher. And if you can't afford to buy a whole Bitcoin, you buy a half or a quarter, or you buy some Satoshis. Like I said, they're portions of a Bitcoin. And as you buy more Satoshis, over time, eventually, you'll acquire a whole Bitcoin. But you don't need to have a full Bitcoin. Because eventually the price of Bitcoin is going to be so high that every Satoshi that you collect now at these prices, you'll be glad that you did, because it's going to be worth 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 times more than it is today. As you've seen on the Bitcoin chart, it's constantly ebbing and flowing, but always up, up, up over the last 10 years. Yes, it may come down for a while, but then it goes back up. It may come down a little bit for a while, but it goes back up. And it's simply a supply and demand. Like I said, they cut the supply every 4 years, and the demand is increasing every day. Now is the time when you want to start accumulating your Satoshis and your Bitcoin. I can't stress this enough. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can see the writing on the wall. I can see the direction that things are heading. I can see with all the money printing that's going on, that the mass inflation that's going to hit within the next year or two is going to be outrageous. You may be paying $20 for a gallon of milk and $15 for a loaf of bread. And if you think that's outrageous and that I'm crazy, just look at the Depression, look at the Weimar Republic, look at Germany after World War II. Anytime when a lot of money is printed, it loses its value because it's being spread out and everybody's got it. And the more you have, the more you have to give to somebody, because those people already have money as well. It just loses its value. It's everywhere. You've probably seen Venezuela, where there's just money on the streets because people don't want to carry it. It doesn't have any value. It's too heavy to carry. They have to bring a whole bag full of it to the store just to buy a bag of groceries. It's outrageous, and I'm not saying it's going to get that extreme in America, but I am saying that fiat is losing its value every day, as I've just proven to you, and that Bitcoin is doing the exact opposite. All right? So guys, Joe Knows Cryptos, please kiss your spouse, hug your kids, pet your pets. God bless each and every one of you. Signing off. You have a great night. Bye now.